Hi guys, it's me again. Today I'm going to bring up a controversial topic, which is Maxx. Wherever I go, where I always have to read 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different discussions about why this card should be unbanned. And usually the less experienced players, the ones that have the less tops, the ones that have been playing the game for less years are the ones that are pro Maxi. Usually the people who is more experienced at this game, has more tops, has been playing this game longer, is the one who is anti-Maxi. Like Robbie Cole made a video recently where he called them the elite. I wouldn't call them the elite, I would call them experienced players. Like, it's experienced players versus inexperienced players. So, in this video I'm going to explain you thoroughly why Maxi should remain banned with an example. So I brought you two replays, one with a bad deck with Maxi versus Adamancipator, and one in an Adamancipator mirror. The first replay is versus Bujins. You're going to see that Maxi is really fair in the Adamancipator versus Bujin matchup because Bujins literally don't do nothing, right? And even with the Maxi, they lost to Adamancipators because bringing Maxi back is honestly not going to make your tier 5 deck playable. Keep that in mind. So first up, the Bujin replay. I open up with this card, which is like a foolish burial for rocks. They max me, and I decide to pass. Why? Why do I decide to pass? Because I can't keep summoning. Literally, I can't play the game because I don't know what he's playing. I mean, had I known that he was playing Bujins, I would have made like Riptides. I would have made something. Not a lot, but I would have made something. But I don't know what I'm playing against, so keep that in mind. And I just pass with this thing in case they run my rock, like I can prevent 2 attacks and not lose like any card advantage. So that is why I passed. So we let the Bujin player keep moving the game. Duality, I mean, Bujin is such a terrible deck. Like, the problem in this matchup is not Maxi, or is not that Adamancipator is too overpowered, is that Bujin is really terrible. And that happens with pretty much every other deck which is not in the gauntlet for the meta contention. So, you're asking for the meta to be hit just for these decks to have a chance, but hitting these decks actually won't be enough for the bad decks to catch up, and we have seen that in the past a lot. Look at Salamangreat, they are still topping after so many hits. But let's focus on the replay now. And then he does Bujin stuff, because Bujin is actually way too terrible. And at this point on, I can play the game freely. I play this thing, I start doing Adamancipator stuff. I get lucky with the Quakimeru, but in all honesty I was going to do Apollousa anyway. So he can't nibble me because I have the Guardian here, right? Don't forget about it. Then I get more free cards, and then I go for Apollousa. And then he Nibiru's for the flex. He Nibiru's, it's myself though. I just Nibiru for the flex. I know I'm fucked up at this point on the Bujin side of things. So then I just keep playing. Look at this. Despite opening Maxi, the bad deck lost. What a surprise! Tell me, what's the point of having Maxi legal if bad decks are still losing consistently versus the good decks? Like, what's the point? What's the point? Honestly, what's the point? He still lost, dude. He still lost despite opening Maxi. As you can see, the problem is not the power level of that Emancipator deck. The problem is that the Bujin deck is way too weak. What we should be asking Konami for is for them to buff these bad decks, but they don't, because they don't like selling old cards. But I don't, because they don't gain direct profit most of the time, because most of these cards are in the secondary market. So unless they reprint them, they are not going to profit anything just only from the new cards. But they are selling like 2 cards instead of 40. That's why they would rather sell you new decks than support the old ones. But I don't see anyone making that valid point to complain about Konami. I don't see anyone. Like, what I see is, combo decks are too degenerate, my table 5 deck deserves to be playable, and that has never happened. Like, Yu-Gi-Oh! Has always had a gauntlet in the metagame where 5, 10 decks have been playable in a format, in a diverse format, or what people call diverse format, and that's it. Most of the formats is 3, 4, 5 decks at most. So guys, get real. Like, you're asking for a utopia where your Malicious or your Speedroid deck is competitive versus an Emancipator. That's not gonna happen, and certainly Maxx is not the card that is going to make that happen. Asking Konami to make different designs in a different direction that is not a special summoning is what is going to get us there. But I don't see anyone complaining about that. So I'm gonna show you the second replay in an Emancipator mirror. It's interesting because in meta matchups is where Maxx is the most toxic. Like if Maxx could only be played by tier 5 decks, I would be all for unbanning the card and put it to 3, but that's not the case. The problem is when a good deck is playing Maxx and the other person is also playing a good deck, and well, not only a good deck, because Maxx is actually quite oppressive against a bunch of bad decks as well. So let's forget that for a moment. If you are playing a good deck and are playing Maxx, then you have a monumental advantage over the other player, as you're going to see. So hands are quite similar. I stacked them to show you this replay, and then I do the same exact movement as with the Bujin deck, right? Which is like play my Foolish Burial, play this thing. In this case, again, keep in mind I'm not supposed to know what I'm playing against, so I decide to pass with 2 monsters in defense. Sorry, with Naturia Beast. Like, I decide that Naturia Beast is going to maybe help me, because because I hit this card. Like, I left a relatively moderate field, which is not super good, but it's something that in theory versus something fair should be able to hold me up. But look what happens. Look what happens with the cards I gave him. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, drawing 5 is not fair. Passing with the Golem is not fair. I would have lost either way. If I didn't give him the 5 draws, I would have been OTK. Because I gave him the 5 draws, I lived for a turn. But that really didn't matter, as you're going to see. So just look at this. This is absurd. Like, just for the flexing, like Maxx Earth for Gigantes. Like, that was super stupid. So now I attack the Beast and I crash the Guardians, and then I just start playing him because I will lock him out of the game. If you think thoroughly about this replay, you're going to find a pattern. The problem is the card design, because the card design is geared towards summoning more and more monsters. Right? So what needs to happen is that Konami needs to print more control decks for a while, but no one is asking for that. Like, people is just asking for nonsensical things like diverse formats, when this format is actually quite diverse. I have seen plenty of different decks, from Mystic Mind to Pendulum to Emancipator, so that's actually a false claim, and then that's a big problem. And they just keep asking for utopic stuff like that, or Maxx to be unbanned, because they feel the need, or that they feel entitled that their tier 5 deck should be competitive. And I'm sorry to break those news down to you. And just look at this, like, just for infuriating, just for the flex, I even drew like the Maxx. Like, forget about the field, just the Maxx alone would have killed this deck. Like, dude, Maxx is not it's a very toxic card. It's not healthy. It's not going to help to do anything. And even after the excavation, he can do anything. Like, again, you see the problem? The problem is the card design. The problem is the way Konami is designing the game, not the yeah. The problem is the way Konami is designing the game, not Maxx. No, so guys, don't be that guy, please. I beg you, please don't be the guy who is like, oh, unban Maxx, OCG has it. My deck deserves a chance. If you don't want to think about what to do, you deserve to lose. You're a bad player. Please don't be that guy. I beg you, don't be that guy.